Welcome to the Department of Educational Leadership specific information session to our Participate Learning Ambassadors. My name is Dr. Jenna Lenhart, and I am the coordinator of the program, and I'll pass it to Mariah to introduce herself and get us started.
Hi, my name is Mariah Tagbe-Mogadam. I'm the Senior Educational Specialist for the Department of Educational Leadership and your go-to person for admissions process. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Our information, our emails will be at the end of this presentation. So tonight during this session, we're going to be talking about VCU, Virginia Commonwealth University, and the School of Education in Fast Facts. You're going to meet our team in the Department of Educational Leadership. We're going to talk about the program itself and leadership studies concentration. And then we're going to talk about admissions requirements and any other resources.
So to tell you a little bit about VCU, we are an urban serving university, and the university is incredibly large as it relates to Virginia. We're about 30,000 students, and that's undergraduate and graduate and research and professional studies. What that allows you to have is a wide range of a cross-disciplinary opportunity for experience, for classwork, and we'll talk about that later as you think about how to leverage the size of our university and the skill sets across that university as well. We are a top 30 most innovative public university, being right in the heart of Virginia, and also part of the fact that it's it's close to the government center, the place in which government happens in Virginia. So policy integration into the conversations that we have in class is just a natural fit, along with how do we run community change? How do we have community change occur within our classrooms? And that is particularly of interest to many of our students in the Participate space. We are a top 20% global university for research impact and scholarly productivity, a number 3 global university in Virginia based on the US News and Global ranking. So if we hone in a little bit more on what makes the School of Education special, we are a smaller school within the larger university. So what that does for you is gives you the intimate one-on-one relationships with your faculty and your colleagues within a larger university that has a lot of resources. We are 15th best public graduate school of education and 15th best online M.Ed. And 45th best online graduate education program by US News. Where rankings don't necessarily drive our work, they do showcase the continuous improvement that we do every single year, every single class, to ensure that our program is meeting the highest expectation of education and application for our students and alumni.
Okay, now we're going to discuss our department, the Educational Leadership. We have Whitney Newcomb, who is the department chair. We have 2 doctoral programs in our department. We have an EDD in leadership. The director is Beth Bukowski. And then we have a PhD concentration in leadership policy and justice. The program coordinator is Andreen Castro. Here we have Jenna Lenhart. She already gave her credentials. It is a list of different programs that she's doing, from undergrad to master's and certificates. We have Felton Moss, who is the program coordinator for our licensure programs, our master's in educational leadership, concentration, administration supervision, and our postmasters. So if you don't have your master's, you would do the M.Ed in administration supervision. But if you have your master's, you would just go ahead and get that certificate postmasters. And then Michael Williams is the program coordinator for our higher education concentration in our department. Students work alongside dedicated, diverse, internationally recognized faculty and adjunct instructors who are practitioners in the field that foster learning environments centered in intellectual integrity and advocacy. We also have 2 admin members in our team, myself as a senior educational specialist, again, go-to person for admissions. And once you choose to come to us and you're in our program, you would ask M. Griffith, the senior administration coordinator, for any information you need in regards to registration errors and so forth.
So to talk about what really changes or is a differentiator for our specific department within the School of Education is we launch a few different initiatives that are free to you, both as community members, whether or not you come to our program or not. We would love you to come to our program, of course. But these are ways that you can engage now in engaging in the conversation about leadership and the future of leadership. So we have a Distinguished Leadership virtual lecture series. It's hosted by our department. It's monthly in the fall and spring, and there's actually one that usually happens within, again, the cycle within the month. We talk about topics, everything from higher education to K through 12 and anything in between. So thinking about how you want to learn from experts. Again, it's free to you, and how you apply that to the work that you're doing. This is a unique opportunity where we bring the external experts in, and you have access as a community to these experts as you're thinking about the coming challenges and changes in leadership across educational spaces. Then we have the Leadership Coaching Lab. This is actually a donor-funded opportunity for our students to get an individualized and group coaching for our students and our alumni from a strengths-based lens. The idea is we want you to make the most out of your program. How are we able to, in wraparound services, both within your academics and outside of your academics, give you an opportunity to self-reflect and think about the leader that you are and the leader you want to be, and where you can leverage resources to ensure that you get the most out of your program, but also professionally after the program.
Our M.Ed in Educational Leadership program, Concentration in Leadership Studies, is a 30-credit program, 1 year full-time, 2 years part-time. It has online and in-person options. I do want to preface that in-person cohorts are based on interest each year. This program is designed for working professionals seeking educational leadership roles, aligning with students aiming to apply leadership theory to drive institutional change and improve educational outcomes in various sectors. It offers a vigorous core curriculum focused on equity and social justice. So this includes personalized elective courses, 15 credits, so it's half of the 30 credits. The other 15 will be your core courses, which will always be offered online. Okay, this would be a sample course sequence for Leadership Studies program. This would be the one for part-time students, which usually is the one that our students choose because they're all working professionals. And so your first year, you will be taking 2 classes in the fall, 2 classes in the spring. We do have a summer session, which will be 2 classes. And then again, 2 classes in the fall, your second year, and 2 classes in your spring. So you would graduate within that 2-year mark. The bolded courses is your core courses. This means you're going to have students from our other concentrations in those classes. So you're going to get a perspective from all different sectors and all different backgrounds. The EDUS 660, which is your summer course that you would be taking, the Educational Research Methods course. This one's actually across the School of Education. So then you're going to have even a bigger scope of different programs, concentrations, and sectors in that course as well. You have different options for elective concentrations. There's 6 elective scenarios for concentrations for the Educational Leadership Studies track. And we have indicated it here on the page. This is the typical one that students may occasionally do. So first scenario is gender, sexuality, and women's studies. Second scenario is going to the wider school and taking some of those public administration courses. And then your third is social work and school social work. We did star the courses that some students will just pick from each one to create their 15 credits. There's also the ability to add another graduate certificate. You have the Learning Sciences certificate that is outside of our department, but some of the classes are in our department. So if you want to look into the instructional design portion, if you want to work more on online education background, that would be perfect for you. We have our Cultural Responsive Leadership certificate that's in our department. Jenna is also the advisor for it. And then we have Advanced Educational Statistics. So if you want a little bit more of a hard data background, that is something that you can also tag into it. Our online learning in our department, all of our online courses are synchronous sessions. So it's like you're going to be coming on Zoom, just like we're doing right now, and you're going to learn from your teacher with your peers. This will alternate between Tuesdays and Thursdays, and you'll see the exact dates when you register for your classes. And I say this, but take a grain of salt. There might be 7 classes listed on there, but you may only be attending 3 of them, 5 of them, or all 7 of them. Your instructor will notify you with a specific time frame between 4 and 8 p.m. and the specific dates a week before in their welcome letter that will also have the syllabus. You will not meet no more than 2 hours. Majority of the time, it's an hour and a half or an hour 15 minutes. But we ask all the students to always hold Tuesdays and Thursdays between 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. until they get the exact date and time each semester. The schedule, fall starts the second week of August, runs through early December. You'll have a little bit of a break, and then spring will begin the third week of January and run through early May. And then summer begins late May and runs through mid-August. I believe the break between fall and spring is a little bit longer than spring and summer. So that's something to keep in mind. Oh, and also summer, fall.
I will say the spring session for the upcoming semester, because of the way, I don't know really, but the way things are working in 2006 is, I think it's even just like the third week, but it's the third week feels like the second week. So something to keep in mind when you're looking at the academic calendar. So why this program? So a couple of different things as I talk to students about how do you leverage an academic program for your career success. It's both a learning opportunity and it should be utility wise, something that really leverages your resume and adds complexity to your resume in a way that serves you uniquely, which is really the unique part of the LST program because of what Mariah mentioned. 50% of those credits are individually chosen by you. What that offers you is unique ways to identify in your resume, hey, I have an extra additional certificate in learning sciences, and that gave me instructional design skill sets within the major. Or I took a certificate across the university within my academic program, or I took these women's studies and gender classes because I want to teach these components either within a community-based or nonprofit or other areas of career interest as well. So I think it's both a CV or a resume development tool, the academic program, but also thinking about in your current employment and leadership opportunities. Are there ways for you to leverage some of these classes to say, hey, school that I'm working with, I am in this class about organizational change. How can I tap into the individuals who are responsible for organizational change? So both thinking of it as I want to add it to my resume as an experience and an academic credential, but also how do you within the program leverage relationships within your areas, divisions, or schools to think about how can I take on leadership opportunities now and offer my own perspective and my unique perspective to the area that I work now and the organization that I have that I'm engaged in now. The other component is that expertise, confidence, and learning. And why I say this is back to that coaching lab is really thinking about how do you take your lived experience and the things in which you are bringing to the work. How are you able to build your confidence in leadership in order for you to make the impact on others that you see is needed in the world? That's really one of the components of our program that I think is really unique, is that we're both thinking about leadership from a theory perspective, but we're constantly applying it and thinking, well, how does this actually show up in the real world? How is this actually an opportunity for me to teach or support others in their own professional development as well? And of course, that professional development component, how can you utilize this to build skills in specific strategic areas that you feel like maybe you have not gotten from past academic programs? That's where the flexibility of that leadership studies concentration opportunity for you to choose your electives really is honed in. I meet with students one-on-one every single semester to talk about what are you thinking about as it relates to engaging in leadership opportunities through your classes. How are you thinking about after your program? How are you leveraging the program right now to build your network in order to think about professional development opportunities, both within your program and outside of your program? So for instance, at VCU, I mentioned the large size of the university, you may have opportunities to be on a research group if you're really interested in research. Maybe a doctoral program is the next step for you. Maybe it's not. Maybe that's not an interest to you, but maybe you're interested in a task force or a student advisory board that is here at the university as well. So thinking about, again, what does this program look like for you? How can we support your individual passions and goals through the academic program experience? So admissions requirements for the LST specific to participate. So you can scan this code for the full checklist. But what I really want to highlight is that participate learning professionals do not have to pay the application fee. If you pay the application fee, friends, we cannot reimburse it. So please, please, please do not pay that fee. You must reach out to us after you submit all materials, and then we can waive it. And that is a manual process. Another benefit of the MOU, or the agreement between VCU School of Education and Participate Learning, is that you actually, through your questions of identifying you are a Participate Learning professional, you get a waiver of your academic transcripts. even though we are pulling them from participate. You have to tell us that you are willing to share records in order for us to do that. Otherwise, you have to submit the transcripts. And I'll say that one more time. If you, in the supplemental questions, identify, yes, I'm a participate person, and I am okay with document sharing, you do not have to upload your transcripts. You should still say what institutions you've come from, because then we'll plug in the transcripts we get from your colleagues that participate. But keep in mind that is a benefit that you don't have to then request transcripts. You have your statement of intent, and then also your English language requirement that usually would be required would also be waived. And that is again because you are working with participate. Otherwise, normally you would have to submit that. You can start in spring, fall, or summer. And as you saw from Mariah's outline, even though it said start in fall, you technically could start in the spring session, and then it would just roll through, and then you wouldn't be a May graduate, you would be a December grad. So you will still roll through the program the same way. There are not prerequisites to our core classes. So there's a lot of flexibility in the program, and we will support you and create a plan of study that aligns with when you start and when you want to complete. And usually we keep everybody on a 2 classes a semester, but of course are able to flex and talk to you about academic changes as you see fit. So admissions requirements to reinforce what are waived because of the participate learning agreement. The following pieces are waived on your admissions application. Remember though, again, and I know I've said it twice, but I'll say it one more time. You have to identify that you are a participate learning professional, and you have to check the box that will allow us to share content between your participate learning professionals, HR team, and then our admissions team. So your English proficiency is waived, the 2 academic and professional references, the official transcripts, and then that application fee. But please, please, please don't pay that. Just submit your application and then email us to waive that manually. This is the question I get from a lot of participate learning folks. So I want to walk through it one by one and answer some questions also about how to pay for the program as well. So you can scan this code right here to look at the outline that is also pasted right here, but sometimes it's nice to have it in the PDF form. The estimated tuition, and this is the tuition at the discount. So normally this tuition would be twice as much because the participate learning, most are under J1. You're mostly under J1 visas, and that is considered an out-of-state student because you do not have Virginia residency. But because of the agreement, you get basically in-state tuition costs for the same program, which is a huge benefit. It's an incredible amount of discount as it relates to the tuition that normally would be for out-of-state students. We give an estimate of the tuition per credit cost, and that's for this academic year. I want to share that if for the 25-26 academic year, these are the costs. Every single summer, our Board of Visitors reviews the tuition and fees and does change them. So if this is something that you're looking at and you are looking at starting in fall 2027, then you will want to look at the most updated tuition and fees costs for your program at that time. So there are a couple of fees along with tuition that are unique to you. This is for online students. Most of our students are going to be online students. So if you're an in-person student and you're wondering about what your fees will look like, because they will be more, please email Mariah or myself. But again, most of our students are online. And so this gives you a good sense of what the tuition and fees will be. From a tuition standpoint, I said estimated per semester. This is at that 6 credits or 2 classes rate. And you will take that and then times it by 5 to get a good sense of what the total program cost would be, because you will be in 5 semesters. Fees, same concept. We also have opportunities to be on a payment plan to help spread out the cost. Most of the time, if you spread it across the semester, it will be a little over 1,000 to 2,500, or to 1,000 to 1,500 in each of the payment plans, depending on when you sign up for them. So learn more about the installment plans, as well as you can look at the tuition calculator yourself as well. And then, of course, the various different resources through our financial aid resources also can support you. Scholarships for students happen every spring. So if you start in spring, you will not be eligible for scholarships until the next spring, unfortunately. So let me back up. Let me start the slide over. So there are many ways to support and finance your education within the M.Ed in Educational Leadership LST concentration. So just in case you wanted to look at the tuition calculator yourself, this gives you the graduate version of the tuition calculator and gives you opportunities to look at how all the fees work, especially if you're an in-person student, if you choose an in-person program. There are payment and installment plans available to you. It will vary based on when you start the payment or installment plan, how much each payment will be, but you can go on this installment plans website and it will talk you through how to apply for it, how to sign up for it, and to really break up the cost of the program, which I find is very helpful. There's also scholarships that happen, but they happen every spring. So say you're a fall student, you wouldn't apply for scholarships until you are in that next spring and continuing in your program. So keep that in mind as it relates to continuing student scholarships. And VCU also has a dedicated financial aid counselor that can walk you through the costs, the options, and also the installment plans as well, and really figure out a way to make the most of your financial situation and what is required for you to continue in the program. They are a wonderful resource. You can both email them and then you can set up a meeting. Once you're a student, you will go into a main, what we call the Navigate system, and you'll be able to sign up for appointments with your financial aid counselor straight from there as well.